Welcome to Equations, lesson number 5, simplifying across the equal sign and solving. So this is the next level of difficulty we're going to bring in. It's not just simplifying like terms on the same side of the equation. Sometimes your like terms in an equation are found on both sides of the equal sign, and we need to reorganize them to get all of the constant terms onto the right and all of the terms with variables onto the left. That's going to be our goal. Variables left, constants on the right. So I'll show you how to do that in example number 1. Again, it hinges on opposite operations in the proper order. So let's start in on example number 1. Simplify the following equation before solving. So we have 2v equals 12 minus 4v. So if we look at this, let's see if we can find some like terms. Well, here's a v, and on the other side of the equal sign is also a v. Now those are both to the exponent 1, so those are like terms, but they're on opposite sides, or they're on two different sides of the equal sign. What we're going to do is we're going to try to take this term here on the right side of the equal sign and get it over onto the left side so that we can combine them. And the way that we're going to do this is the same way that we move things away from our variables when we're trying to solve. We're going to do opposite operations. So if I have a subtract 4v on the right side of my equation, what is the opposite operation to subtracting? It's addition. And whatever it is that I'm subtracting, I want to add that same value. So I'm subtracting 4v. I'm going to undo that by adding 4v. But I need to do the same thing to both sides of my equation. So I've written it down on both the left and the right sides. Now on the left side of the equation, I have 2v plus 4v. That's going to give me 6v's. And on the right side of my equation, by subtracting 4v and adding 4v, I've undone those things. Those things have been undone, so they're not around anymore. I'm left on the right side of my equation with a 12. So what I've done is I've successfully combined two like terms on opposite sides of the equation together by moving it using opposite operations onto the same side. For variables, that's the left side where we want to get those. So now we have 6v equals 12. There's no more like terms, so we're going to go about solving this by first finding our variable, still v, and saying or thinking to ourselves, what's happening to v? It's being multiplied by 6. We undo that by dividing it by 6, but we must do it to both sides. So these two operations, they undo each other. 6 multiply and divide. We're left with v, and 12 divided by 6 equals 2. So now we are going to do a check. Now we're not going to do lots of checking, especially as our questions start to get longer, but we can afford the space and time here to do a check just to sort of prove that it worked out. So we have the left side of our equation is equal to 2 v's, and we think that v is equal to 2, so we're going to substitute that in, and that's going to be equal to 4. So let's try the right side now. This is the one that's a little more involved. We have 12 minus 4v. Now again, we think that v is equal to 2. So we're going to follow our order of operations. We're going to do our multiplication first. So 4 times 2 is 8. And 12 minus 8 is going to be 4. So we'll notice that both the left side and the right side of our equations are equal. And we'll write out, therefore, the left side equals the right side. And a happy face because we got the right answer. So one of the things you may have noticed is that our checks get more involved. There's usually more steps in them as we go along, and that's very common. That's natural. Just as there's more steps to solving as the equations get more challenging and more difficult. So let's have a look at another one here together. A. So we have 6g minus 2 equals 3g plus 10. So in this case, we've got a like term. Over here, we've got a 3g and a 6g. Let's get them together right off the bat. So we have this plus 3g right here. So how do we undo add 3g? We are going to subtract 3g. And we're going to do that on both sides of the equation. Now what you'll notice I've done here is I've written the subtract 3g under the terms that it's alike. That way I know that when I have to perform the operations, the mathematical operations, I'm not going to forget them. I'll know what I'm trying to combine here. So on the left side of the equation, 6g minus 3g gives us 3g. And we didn't do anything with the minus 2, so we'll leave it. Equals, now this plus 3g minus 3g, those two operations have undone each other, and we're left with plus 10 on the right side of our equation. So we're not quite finished yet because there are still two like terms that need to be combined. We have this minus 2 and this plus 10. Again, we want to get all the constant terms to the right side of our equation. So we want to move that negative 2. So what's the opposite of subtract 2? It's going to be plus 2. But again, I must do it on both sides of my equation. So on the left side of the equation, I have 3g and that minus 2 plus 2. Those two things have undone each other, so they're not around. 3g equals, and that is 10 plus 2, which gives us 12. No more like terms. Now we can go about the business of solving. So there's our variable. There's g. And what's happening to g? It's being multiplied by 3. How do we undo that? We're going to divide both sides by 3. So g is going to equal 4. And I think we have enough space. Let's do our left side, right side check here. So the left side is equal to 6g rather minus 2. 6g minus 2. Now that's 6. We think g is equal to 4 minus 2. 6 times 4 is equal to 24 minus 2. That's going to give us 22. Let's take a look at the right side of our equation. Right side equals 3g plus 10. So we have 3g plus 10. Again, we think that g is equal to 4 plus 10. Order of operations, multiplication first gives us 12 plus 10, which is equal to 22. So we're looking 22 equals 22. Therefore, left side equals right side, and happy face. Good times. So this is how we go about solving and checking a multi-step equation simplifying across the equal sign. So I'd like you to try B here on your own. So hit pause, and when you've got an answer, come on back and we'll see how you did. All right, let's have a look. Our like terms, minus 4t and minus 3t, how do we undo that? We want to add 3t to both sides. And I'm writing that as, again, right under the term that it's alike. So we have a minus 4t plus 3t. That's going to give us minus 1t plus 3 equals 12. Again, that minus 3t and that plus 3t, they have undone each other. Now we have two more terms that are alike. We have the plus 3 and the plus 12. How do we undo plus 3? We subtract 3 from each side. On the left side of our equation, we have minus 1t equals 9 on the right side. So now we don't have any more like terms. Now we're going to go about solving. So there's our variable. Our variable is t. And what's happening to t? It's being multiplied by minus 1. How do we undo that? Divide by minus 1. That means our answer is going to be t equals negative 9. So we've got some space. Let's do our check. The left side is equal to minus 4t plus 3. So we have minus 4 times minus 9 plus 3. We do our multiplication first. Minus 4 times minus 9 gives us a positive 36 plus 3, and that's going to give us 39. Let's check the right side of our equation now. The right side equals 12 minus 3t, 3t, and there it is. So we have 12 minus 3 minus 9, so that is going to give us 12, and then minus 3 times a minus 9 gives us plus 27, and that is going to give us 39. Our left side is equal to our right side, so let's write that out. Therefore, our left side equals right side. Happy face. Lots of good work there. So hopefully these steps are making sense to you. It is long, it is involved, but stick with it. Good luck on the worksheet, and we'll see you in lesson number 6.